Okay, on to the second video. Okay, so I picked model from the creatures pack here. That's for a certain mod, and I had a request to make the model about 10 to 20% larger and add head tags for a headshot only mod and make smaller bundles under 100 megabytes so that it will go to GitLab fine. So yeah, so I initially made about 20 creatures, bundle them all up, and sent them to the mod author, and the package is way too large. So I have to redo a few here. First thing I want is to go to my creature I want to use, which is the Exterminator. And sorry, Grace, can you keep it down a little bit, please? Thanks, bud. Um, okay, first thing I usually do is I go to Mesh, and I will grab the controller that Zith so graciously sent me back in the day. So you just grab it, drag it in, and it will pop in here. What you need to do is rename it. Right click on it, rename it, and I've already renamed mine so that it will not overlap with any of the other controllers for any of your other critters. Okay, and I've also already went over here to the model or mesh, and I've changed the scale to 1.2, which adds 20% to the size. And I've also gone to the animations, and I've gone to each one of these and changed the scale from 1 to 1.2, which will change that as well. You need to hit apply for that to process. And if there are any warnings here, like yellow warnings says fix this or that, you just hit OK and then apply that as well. Okay, so I usually check to see if there's any warnings in the models in this area here in the models tab for any animations or for the mesh. Okay, and then apply again, apply. Okay, that's done. And we're gonna go to, sorry, I got a bunch of kids here in the living room. I need to make a video. It'll just be a few minutes, okay? If you need something, just ask Grace. Thank you. Um, okay, so next we got our controller, got our model. So I got my scene. I want to drag the mesh into your scene. Okay, and there he is. He's a little bigger now than the last time I worked with him. What I usually do as well is as soon as I drop him there, I will rename him. Nader Dark. And then you'll see a whole bunch of different stuff over here in the inspector tab. So this controller that we got, we want to place that over here. And in the culling mode, we want to put always animate. Alright, so, and you want to check as well at this point the textures to see if they're 2048. So you don't want them bigger than that, or else they'll be more intense on the game. So they're all 2048. And then I want to make sure that if you click on the body, which will highlight the whole thing orange, you want to make sure that you've got all the different textures in, because it will definitely make a big difference in how the model looks in the game. Once you pop these into one of the materials here, it should show up for all the rest of them. In this case, it looks like it hasn't. Okay, so we'll have to drag these in here. Hado, occlusion, metallic, and normal. Alright, then we can just check that real quick. Looking at the model. Okay, let's let's see the eyes. Okay, the eyes have them in there. Body, eyes, jaw. Okay, go back to the exterminator. All right, now we want to go from scene to animator, and that controller you put in there will show up here now. It has two different layers: base, torso. Um, but you go to your animations. Let's see, animations. What we want to do is attack, attack, attack. And remember what I was saying in the Mixamo video? You want some basic animations for use with these controllers. Usually a couple of attacks, a run, a jump, idle, hit, death, walk, run. And then you go through and just see which ones you want to apply here. Let's see. Oftentimes you'll be able to preview the animation here. If you haven't already checked them out in Mixamo. These models came with their own animations, so I like to look at them before I put any of them in there. So we're going to use attack 1. Let's see, attack 2. Sometimes you don't have a lot of choice in the attacks you can use. Attack 3. Yeah, no, that's too long. We're going to use attack 1 and attack 2. So you have to open up your animation, click on the animation, hit Control D, and it will make a usable copy of your animation. So we've got attack 1, attack 2, Control D. Attack 3 we're not going to use. Death, Control D. Get hit. Do the same. Okay, we're at what? Get hit, death, idle. Oh, sometimes they'll come with a couple different idles, but this one has just the one. And you can choose from which idle you want. Alright, idle, jump, the. If you happen to not have a certain animation for your model, it wasn't provided, you'll just have to go into your controller and delete that from your controller. Run. Oh, shout. We use shout for ranged attack. I can't remember if this one had a ranged attack or not. And walk. Roll D. Okay, so now I'm just going to check and make sure all the animations are there. We'll attack, 2 attacks, death, get hit, idle, jump, run, walk, shout. Okay. All the ones I want to use are there. So there's 3 of them that you'll have to adjust. Idle. You have to loop the time. Run. You have to loop the time. And walk. You have to loop the time. On jump, shout, get hit, attack, or death, you don't have to loop the time. Okay. So we've got our animations. What we want to do is go into our controller now. We're already in Animator tab. We'll look at the base layer. So we got idle. What we'll do is take our idle, drop it in there. We have walk, put in, run, jump, die. Oh, no, don't want that. Oh, die. Okay, so the base layer is done. Torso layer, you do not have to put another idle in there. If you have a ranged attack, this is where it's going to go in the standing fire. So I will put shout in there for now. And in game, the standing fire animation doesn't always line up with the timing in the game, if that makes sense. Didn't to me at first. But what I do is I will always, for myself, change this and make it a little bit faster, so it doesn't have any lag with the firing animation of the vomit in game. And then, what do we got now? Attack 1, attack 2, and hit. So that takes care of all your animations in the game. There's a bunch of stuff we have to do still though. So go back to scene. We have to apply some objects to our exterminator here. One of them is footsteps. So we'll create an empty object. Oh, hang on. You know what? I'll just show you this right now anyway. Footsteps. Okay, so if you do it now and try to move it, it's going to say you cannot do that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll delete this. And what works for me is I'll go back, drag this guy over here. It'll say make a new original or variant, and I'll pick variant. And then delete this one. Delete. And what I'll do is I will put this guy back here, rename him again, dark, delete this guy, and then now all of a sudden you can place objects on there again. Create empty, rename, footsteps, and he goes right up here, right up under the name of the beast. Now we're going to look at the bones. We also need is a muzzle and a hips objects. So the hips objects I usually put under the spine. So go here, spine 1. We will name a create object, and we'll rename him hips. So apparently the effects in the game will not show up on him, like if you set him on fire and stuff, if you do not put that object in there. A lot of models already have hips objects, like the ones you get from Mixed Ammo already have hips, so you won't have to place that in there. Let's see, next, muzzle. We want that to be, let's see, muzzle. We'll go, because we want him to shoot his projectile out of his mouth. Jaw. Let's see, jaw. Head. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the. Let's pick head end. No, not out of his eye. Head. Yeah, you know what? We'll just go with that. Create, and we will rename muzzle, and we'll throw that up here. Also, let's see, muzzle, footsteps, hips. Okay, so that takes care of the objects for now. And we're going to go to Mr. Exterminator, and there's one last thing we got to do here. We have to make a collision for him, which this showed me how to do this. Go to create again, 3D object, ragdoll. Alright, so these all correspond to certain bones. Some of your critters won't have those bones, so you'll just have to pick the best bone that fits in there. So as far as pelvis, will probably be root. So the root will most likely be the pelvis. Let's see what else is over here. Hip, knee, ankle, hip, knee, ankle, toes. So we'll go with left hip for hips. knee, ankle for foot, um, right hip, right knee, right ankle. We'll go to spine, spine, one, chest. Yeah, so we'll have to use spine one for middle spine. I've been using 80 as a default for this. So we got spine. What else do we need? We need arms. Uh, arms. Okay, so scapula, left shoulder, shoulder part one, elbow. Let's see, elbow. Okay, elbow, shoulder, shoulder part one. I think we can go with shoulder, looks like, for the left arm. Shoulder part one. Elbow looks good for left elbow. Right shoulder part one. Where are we at here? Oh, there we go. Shoulder part two. Elbow. All right, then we got head. Where's the head? Head. There we are. All right, now I think we got them all, and we can hit create. Okay, so this guy's gonna need some tweaking here already. I can see. Um, all right, so first things first. All those bones that you just specified, you have to go back in and let's see, root was the first one. So you want to remove all these extra things here from the collider. So rigid body, we're going to remove. Okay, then we'll go to the hip. Character joint has to go. Rigid body has to go. Knee, same thing. Character joint, rigid body. Hip, hip, knee. If you forget to remove one of these components, you will get rubber banding in the game. You'll get that stretchy giraffe neck or the plastic man arms or whatever. Chest, have we used chest? No, we used spine one. Okay, we already did that one. Head. And remove. Shoulder part one. Yeah, actually, let's have a look, see how these look. Oh, crap. Okay, shoulder part one. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to remove these. I'm going to have to redo these because of the bones. Elbow. But I will just roughly show you the adjustment of the colliders. All right, so that's done. We have to adjust the colliders, make sure they're good. Let's see, root. And then this happens too. Okay. So what I'll do for now is I'll just adjust these. Usually the root and the spine will be above each other, one above each other, not side to side like this. But I'll just, for the purposes of this, I'll just show you. So we got the hip. We'll just adjust that to fit the model. Uh, uh, and we'll check the front to back. Pretty good. Alright, now we'll do the spine and edit collider. Alright, let me see how that looks with the other one. So they're overlapping. So we'll go up a little bit on the spine. Alright. front to back. Oh, wrong one. Spine. Uh, uh, and we may have to go up a bit on this one. Might overlap with the head a bit. Alright, so we'll do head next. Collider. Mm, there. Pretty good. And let's see. So we got hip, spine, head, now the limbs. Hip left. Edit collider. So actually that one is pretty good. You can edit a little bit if you want. Knee. Edit collider. You can do a little bit of stuff here. Adjust it a little bit if you like. Hip right. Knee. Okay, and these ones I think were a little bit messed up. Let's see. Left shoulder, part one. Edit. Oh, okay. It's not too bad. Let's see how it looks over here. Oh, yeah. No. Okay, left shoulder, elbow. Oh, so they actually weren't too bad. Okay, I can leave that one as is. Shoulder part one. Edit. Okay, and elbow. Edit. Okay, I think that's best for getting. Then you can check the whole thing by clicking on it, and you want to make sure it's pretty much covered. And that's going to do quite well for in-game. Alright, there's one more thing I need to do here. We need to go to head, which I haven't done this before, but we are going to tag it with untagged, add a tag. Actually, you know what? I haven't done it for a while. Let's see. Um, tag 2. Oh, sorry. That's not right. E head. There we go. All right. Okay, so anyway, I'll have to figure that out. So that takes care of it. The basics there. Hopefully, it wasn't too long and boring for you. Um, ciao.